Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And, you know, usually I'd come up with the witty introduction, but this is the kind of show that sucks the life right out of you. Uh, the best way for me to do an introduction to this video to really put in perspective of just how the WWE is, people are talking about the brand extension. I'm looking at people saying, give it a chance. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out. That's what people have been saying for over a motherfucking decade. I mean, are we supposed to wait another decade to see how it pans out, how it all plays out? I mean, how much longer are we supposed to watch this shit and expect it, fool our own minds into believing that it's going to be good? As I said time and time again, it's the very definition of insanity. We're doing the same thing over and over, watching the product, and you expect a different result. You actually expect it to be good. We're fucking insane, is what I'm trying to say. We're fucking mental for watching this shit and actually expecting a quality product. The writers are bad. McMahon is out of touch. He's fucking 70 years old. He doesn't know his ass from his fucking elbow. We start off the show with Shane McMahon and Stephanie in the ring, and they're like, doing some cutesy insults. And Shane says that she's doing a lot of this and she should be doing, more of this. It's like play fighting, I guess, but they're getting along one week and then they're not. Stephanie is all of a sudden trying to coexist with her brother when she was pretty much coinciding with her father about the Undertaker basically murdering Shane in the Hell in the Cell. Uh, so Stephanie has got to be just as lame as her father is at 70 years old. Let me tell you something, motherfuckers. Stephanie with the "Welcome to Monday Night Raw," trying to do it in Vince's voice. And you know what kills me? In the past, once again, because I'm a hypocrite after all, right, guys? Stephanie, I've praised her in the past. I said that, she kind of emulates a bit of McMahon, not as good as McMahon, but she gets the job done. And now it's just reached a point where this shit's come off the rails. She's trying to be like her father, but failing completely. And, she's not even acting badass like McMahon used to. Now she's just doing this, exaggerated voice. And, this whole thing, Shane tells her to shut up. And then she goes, "Oh, okay, Miz." Like, this is how real people talk. Is this them ad-libbing, or it has to be, because I don't think that Shane and Stephanie would have the writers write their lines. I mean, this is fucking pathetic. And then the New Day comes out, and guys, here's the thing about New Day. I'm happy that they gave a guy like Big E a character, that he's able to explore his personality a bit more through numerous promos. But guys, it's like the same type of weird, out of place promos that at first it was cutting edge, but now it's gone in another direction of it just being it's just annoying now. And the whole outfits, they completely went too far with the whole fucking unicorn things. The fact that I am watching these guys wrestle in rainbow fucking outfits. It's like my dad said a couple of weeks ago watching the show with me. Why does everybody look so motherfucking gay on this show? They're all colorful, a rainbow pattern on their shirt. Holy fucking shit. This is just, it looks so weird and childish. You know, it's really kind of sad. The ratings are at a 2.2, and these guys got their own talent, toting around rainbow tights and rainbow slingets, however the fuck you say that. Um, and basically, during this promo, the New Day comes out because they want to find out about the brand split, the brand extension. And they're like, oh, we don't, it's going to, a brand split's going to take place. There's going to be exclusive rosters. SmackDown's going to be live and all this business. We already knew all this shit. We already knew this from the internet. Because let's face it, the only people watching this show right now are the fucking internet fans. The people involved in the IWC and the YWC. Because nobody else is going to watch rainbow tight motherfuckers. Let's be perfectly honest. I mean, can you imagine, like turning this on with your girlfriend and seeing a guy with a unicorn horn? How are you going to explain this to her? How are you going to explain that to fucking anyone who hasn't watched the product for years? Because, we come to expect this. We're like, oh, okay, that's McMahon. McMahon's a fucking idiot, so he's going to put that shit on there, McMahon is completely out of touch, so he's going to have guys looking like that. But everybody else is just going to think that this is a show written by pedophiles and serial killers. I mean, who else would be into this unicorn shit? But anyway, what I found so funny about this promo, which really stuck out to me, is the fact that Shane and Stephanie seemed totally unprepared to answer New Day's questions. Because it was like, here's the promo. They've got, they have this promo, mapped out ahead of time, basically. There's some ad libs in there and shit, but they're supposed to be using this promo time to answer the questions of New Day. And New Day wants the specifics of what's going to happen during the brand extension. And they didn't have any information to give. They says, we're still figuring it out. This is Shane's response. We're still figuring it out. Back in the day, they had shit figured out months, even a year in advance. They already knew, with The Rock winning the title, that he would lose it to Stone Cold back in the day. Even a couple of years ago, they even had plans for the future. Now they're just admitting that they don't know what the fuck. They're like, oh, well, we'll just figure it out. This is not the time to just figure it out. First of all, they're doing the brand extension. They're splitting their rosters in half, which means they only have half the chance of having a good show. And people are praising this brand extension, even though they hated the first one and couldn't wait for it to end. And they realized that how much they were sucking at it. So eventually they just had super shows. And then they says, you know what? Let's just do away with it. This was the saddest promo I've ever seen. Of two people that are McMahon's children that are, I don't want to say that Shane's out of touch. I don't know how much he has to do with the actual product now currently. But Stephanie, the fact that Stephanie would come out there and willingly just act like she doesn't know what's going on with her own fucking company, not being able to answer questions. They didn't tell us, are we going to get a separate title? Is the champion going to go between both shows? How about the women's champ? Is she going to go between both shows, or is she going to be exclusive to that brand? How about, super shows? Are they going to have that? Okay, so, and when is and so on SmackDown, the draft is going to happen, or is the brand extension beginning that day? Are they going to have the first show with the exclusive SmackDown roster on July 19th? Nothing was answered. No new questions, no new information. Just a boring fucking 20 minutes of complete fucking horseshit. And then at the end of the day, then they asked the most important question. How could I forget? They asked, who's going to be running Raw and who's going to be running SmackDown? I assume, obviously, one show is going to be run by Shane, probably Raw. and Stephanie's probably gonna get smacked down. Oh, God help us. I ain't gonna be watching that anyway. Guys, let me make something perfectly clear. There's a brand split happening, and they're still lucky that I still watch Raw. So I don't fucking care. I guess I'm not gonna see half the roster because I ain't fucking watching SmackDown. Not gonna happen. There ain't gonna be any SmackDown reviews. There's not gonna be any of me talking about Smack. I might talk about some of the news if something big happens on there, but I ain't watching any of the fucking shows. This brand extension, if anything, it makes SmackDown even less attractive to my eye. Let's get that perfectly clear. And they couldn't even answer the question who's gonna run the show. I mean, they should have this figured out. It's going to happen in a month and a half. They don't know who's going to run the fucking show. They haven't thought that far in advance. So they come up with this whole idea, make a big announcement, have New Day come out there and do a question and answer. And there's no fucking answers, only what we already knew. Motherfuckers, everybody who's watching the show already knew this. This is why nobody in the crowd gave a fuck. Nobody popped for any announcements. Then they said, they're going to settle, this little sibling rivalry of, who's going to run the shows. And you've got New Day saying that there's going to be a dance off. Stephanie says she's not going to be involved. Oh, thank God. Okay, but Shane starts dancing in the ring, and I don't know what the fuck Shane's doing. He's doing some fucking seizure dance, and then they get Stephanie to start a dance. She goes like this, and then the vaudevillains come out to interrupt. Stephanie doesn't say anything. The dance off is completely forgotten about. Now, not that I wanted to see Stephanie's dancing, but like Stephanie always says she hates being interrupted, and she doesn't, yell at the vaudevillains. There's, what the fuck is this? Guys, think about this opening segment and just how fucking bad it was. Not only is there motherfuckers in rainbow outfits, you've got a question and answer with no fucking answers. And then they've got Shane McMahon dancing in the ring. What the fuck kind of crazy ass mental circus is this? Seriously, which pedophile, which maniac, which demented fuck wrote this shit? I mean, for God's sakes, this is the weirdest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know how to really properly describe it. Like, if you didn't see this segment, that's the best description that I could come up with. It basically was all that what I said. And there was a man dancing at the end, an authority figure dancing. Because, I guess he wants to entertain the crowd. And, there was just so many little lame bits that I don't have the time or energy to mention here. They're complimenting Shane's shoes. Then Stephanie, very dorkishly, shows off her shoes, and then it's like, oh, how's Stephanie's like the kid in school that's desperately trying to fit in and act cool, but she's just so totally irrelevant. I mean, holy fucking shit! It's like the kid that they don't want to sit at the fucking lunch table. She's just there, and she's taking up a lot of air, and she's not entertaining anybody or providing it. Anyway, the New Day and the Vaudevillains. So they, I guess New Day won by DQ because Gallows and Anderson, the club, interfered. They laid out the New Day, and this was a pretty good way of the thing is the transition here of just vast shittiness. It was good for what it was. I mean, they beat up New Day. They look strong. Good enough, I guess. Apollo Crews is backstage doing some push-ups, and then the Big Show appears out of fucking nowhere. I, this guy just shows up whenever the fuck he wants, I guess. We see the Big Show. We haven't seen him since Mania. Then he shows back up. Then we probably won't see him for another couple of months. Then he's going to show up for a match. He's like Mark Henry. He's just totally inconsistent. We're not that I'm asking to see the Big Show. Oh God, no. But the guy just shows up whenever the fuck he wants. Like all of a sudden, there's a 500-pound turd, and then there's no 500-pound turd. I mean, where the fuck is he? Where do you hide the Big Show? Anyway, he tells Apollo Crews, remember the forgotten Sheamus beatdown last week that Apollo Crews didn't even sell during his match with Jericho? Well, they're acknowledging it. So, Big Show has a little talk with Apollo Crews. I don't know why he says, he was picking on me. That was the wrong language to use. I would have said pick the fight. Picking on me sounds kind of like elementary school. And I know, I'm getting into a linguistics debate here, but there's a difference with dialogue. There's, childish dialogue, and then there's adult dialogue. When's the last time you ever had one of your friends, talking to people who are like, above 20 years old, say, oh, he was picking on me? Come on. In terms of wrestling, to be more specific. Anyway, it's not like this was a bad promo. He tells Apollo Crews that a guy like Sheamus wants the status quo to remain the way how it is. He feels threatened by the new era. I guess an established star feels a little bit anxious now that there's new stars around. So I guess that's an okay little, segment there to introduce that idea. And you see a guy from the past giving some advice to a guy from the new year. So I kind of like that in a way. It's not losing my mind over it, but it's a nice little touch. The Usos beat Breezango. So Goldust and R-Truth, the Golden Truth, are out there. And, I also got to say this. So JBL is burying the team of R-Truth and Goldust, Golden Truth, during this match. It's a little quick match. The Usos win. They have to win with a roll-up over Breezango, which is Tyler Breeze and Fandango. They have to win with a schoolboy on jobbers. Really? This is a top tag team. This is, the cousins of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wins in epic fashion. And the Usos win on such a low-tire tag team with the schoolboy roll-up of all things. So JBL is burying this team at ringside, Golden Truth, saying you guys haven't won a single match. And, the thing is here, what I got to say is, why do they do this? Why do they give us characters and storylines and ideas that they know suck, then have JBL rip them apart at ringside and make them look like total fucking idiots? Now, I know this is supposed to be a comedy act, but when you have one of your main voices on WWE television telling you that something sucks, telling the characters that they suck and like meaning it and giving a reason behind it, like a realistic reason, not a kayfabe reason, but a real reason. You've got fucking problems. I've said this time and time again. They've also admitted on air when promos are bad. They do this. They admit when storylines are bad. They admit when things are unbearable. Then how the fuck do they make them on TV? This is how I want to know. Anyway, so they get to beat up Breezango a little bit after the match, and then they say, "Oh, that's the best they looked." Well, that's not saying much. Then up next, you got Roman Reigns in the ring. He calls out Rollins. the little promo, it was average, not bad by Reigns. You know, people will say it was the worst sounding promo ever, but it simply wasn't. It was just all right. But what followed was fucking terrible. Rollins comes out. He gets on the mic. He's waiting, acts like he's going to say something. You know, he puts his finger up. Then he rushes to the ring. And then he stops. Then he goes back up onto the ramp. Then he runs back down. And then he stops. And he like laughs a little bit. Then he walks away. And then he walks out, you know, the entryway. And then he runs back out. And then stops again. And then he walks away. And you know, that's it. That's the segment. What in the flying fuck were they thinking here? I mean, did they actually think that this was entertaining? You know, it is World Wrestling Entertainment. They are, you know, the world leader in entertainment, right? How the fuck is anybody supposed to take away any entertainment from this at all? They've been waiting so long to finally do this match. It's been almost 2 years of them trying to get this match going on a pay-per-view stage. They finally got it. And, you know, last week they make the match not bad and all that, but now they're, you know, getting into the you know, the real build-up, the nitty-gritty of the match, and this is the best that they could come up with. Rollins not saying a word, just running down to the ring, doing 3 fake outs in a row. You know, like repeating the same thing in a repetitive fashion. What the fuck? I gotta really ask, what the fuck were they thinking here? How did they think that this was gonna go over well with the crowd? I mean, honestly, this is not just being out of touch. This is just being downright fucking retarded. I mean, to really think that this segment's going to be, you have to be retarded. There's no other way to look at it. There's no other perspective to look on this. I mean, I'm actually looking on PW Torch. And, you know, I'm always curious to see what they've got to say over there. And James Caldwell is praising it, saying it was good heel tactics, playing mind games. That's what they chalk. This is no. You're not writing this off as mind games. Fuck you. This was fucking terrible. You're not gonna write this off as fucking mind games. No, that's totally unacceptable. That's not a valid reasoning for this shit. You're just simply not gonna get away with that. I'm not gonna allow anyone to sit here and tell me in the comments as well that this was acceptable, that this had they said that this was mind games. No, The Undertaker plays mind games. This was just poor writing. This was a shitty segment. And sorry guys, but no. No. Not mind games. This is just shitty. Rusev beat Zack Ryder. You know, Ryder actually looked a lot better in this match than I thought. You know, this is the thing. Guys, they want to make, like, Rusev is, like, now back on track. He, like, barely beats Kalisto with the pay-per-view. He gets his ass kicked through most of the match. And most of this match, he was getting his ass kicked as well. I mean, Ryder got in all his trademark offense. You know, he gets, you know, he almost looks like he's going to, we know he wasn't going to win, but they make it look like he's going to win. Then, you know, I do like the new way that Rusev is applying the accolade. I will say that. It looks more like a rear naked choke than a camel clutch, which is better. Then Titus O'Neil comes out after the match. He rushes to the ring. He punches him out because Rusev said that he's an American hero, Bruce and Titus got insulted by that. And, you know, I'm a big fan of this. Titus was out there, he was fired up, and you guys know for the longest time, I've said this like since 2012. I like Titus. I'm a fan of Titus, and I want this guy to be a big single star. I think he's got a lot of charisma. He's got that you know, he's very like you can present him in front of a large audience. You know, I think he's very socially acceptable. You know, just like Cena, you know, the guy can come out there, you know, they always make him look good. He looks good in his suit. He's got a good personality. He's likable. I say, why not just give it to them? You know, all the people that like to get at WWE being racist and shit. Well, there you go. There's a charismatic black wrestler. And I wouldn't mind seeing him be a big star. And, you know, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this program. I still think Rusev looks pathetic, but, you know, Titus getting a slight push, well, I'm on board for that. They do a little video package of what the wrestlers thought about Charlotte, you know, kicking her father to the curb. Then Stephanie is backstage, and she rips Charlotte a new asshole, saying she's pathetic. She's, you know, why do they always have Stephanie bury talent? You guys like to say Cena buries talent. Roman Reigns likes to bury talent. Nobody buries talent more than fucking Stephanie McMahon. To make matters worse, she slapped Ric Flair the other week. Now she's defending him. So if we're supposed to respect legends, why is she slapping one like 2 weeks ago during the build-up to Extreme Rules? I mean, it's not so much the inconsistencies, but the fact that she's actually standing there burying one of the best women talents that they got. And why do they always do this? She buries Ziggler. She buries everybody under the sun. Give me a fucking break already. I've had it up to here with Stephanie burying talent, belittling talent in real life and on fucking camera. I mean, this is the women's champion. She says she's a waste of talent. I mean, do you realize when you've got authority figures just tearing apart the talent like that it doesn't look good? And then people might second guess and say, oh, well, you know what? She isn't that great. Okay, so then you've got Enzo and Cass defeating the Dudleys. This was a pretty decent match. When Enzo and Cass come out there, you know, these promos are like wacky. They're a little bit silly, but they're in a different vein than the New Day. It's a little bit more mature, and they're extremely entertaining. They actually do make me laugh. And I do like this feud that they have. I want to see more of it. I wish we could see a little bit more of the Dudleys with Enzo and Cass trading back and forth on the mic, because, you know, Bubba Ray is actually good on the mic. I think we could get some good promos, but that might require like some clever writing, or maybe just at least the opportunity to book the segment at least. So anyway, Enzo and Cass are doing a great job so far. You know, I really hope that they don't have them fall off and just go completely into obscurity, because that right there, that would be a waste of talent. Enzo and Cass have a lot of charisma. They've got a great look to both of them, and to, you know, mess that up, that would be a fucking crime. CENA returns. CENA is finally back. You know, even before CENA came out, everybody was standing up on their feet. That's something they don't do for Sami Zayn. That's something they don't do for Kevin Owens. That's something they don't do really for anybody. But they stood up for Cena. You know, they might have been booing him as well, but the people showed that they fucking cared for him. Comes back, talks about how he's in the new era. People are going to have to go through him. AJ Styles comes out. And this is one of those moments where the crowd didn't annoy me, but actually the crowd showed a lot of respect. They kept cheering back and forth between AJ Styles and John Cena. They let this go for a little bit, and then finally AJ says he's been waiting to meet him for a long time. He says, "Welcome back." He sticks out his hand, and Cena won't shake his hand, but then he ends up shaking his hand. Um, the club comes out. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson. Cena and AJ are side by side, but then AJ attacks Cena. Swerve. I like that. That was pretty fucking awesome. So now we've got a fully turned heel AJ. Obviously, he kept coming back to the ring multiple times to do some mounted punches on Cena. Um, and I like this segment. This was the best segment on the fucking show. You had a nice crowd reaction, a nice swerve in there, so I was a fan of this. About time we got something decent on the show that didn't fucking make me want to fucking slam my head into the fucking wall. Dana Brooke defeated Natalia. I like Dana Brooke, pretty fucking hot there, but Becky Lynch comes out to make the save, and I guess it's going to be Becky and Charlotte now. Um, you know, I don't know. The women, after seeing Stephanie belittle Charlotte, and then how is like Natalia now losing so fast to Dana Brooke after having, all these pay-per-view matches against Charlotte? The fucking consistency is just non-existent. Baron Corbin defeated Dolph Ziggler by disqualification. Ziggler, this was the technical wrestling match. Ziggler put on his wrestling headgear like the Rick Steiner look, and then he just kicks Corbin in the balls and then walks away. Well, that was clever, but I don't really see where this storyline's going. Really, I mean, I just don't. I don't. This is, I don't know. This was just a little bit too fucking. I get the joke, like, Ziggler kind of got Corbin into a position where he thinks he's gonna, mat wrestle him, and then he just, kicks him in the nads. It's not that it was bad, but I expect a little bit more from Corbin. I want him to look a little bit more strong against Ziggler. And, both Ziggler and Corbin, they're just wasting their time. These are two guys that could go, a lot of different places in the WWE. Ziggler deserves to be a big star. Looks like a star, acts like a star, wrestles like a star. Corbin's not a bad wrestler either, and he's got a great look. So these are guys that could be doing so much more with their fucking careers, but instead they give more time to Golden Truth. Anyway, it's the main event. It's Dean Ambrose, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro defeating Kevin Owens, Jericho, and Alberto Del Rio. And guys, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I fell asleep during this match. And I had to rewind my DVR. I'm not even saying that to try to be funny. To get a laugh here or to stress my point. I legitimately fell asleep. I mean, I about had it at this point. It really was just a nothing match. And they should have closed the show with AJ and Cena, obviously. That would have been the best way to go, the biggest angle. But instead, they close it with, the Money in the Bank guys. I understand they want to put more stress on the Money in the Bank, but no one is going to care. Putting them in the last place of the show, which many people tune out of anyway. So maybe it was kind of better off that they didn't put AJ Cena there. But if they know that, why is Raw 3 hours then? If they have to shove this shit at the end of the show, that means that even less people are going to watch. I don't care. Yeah, you have a lot of talented guys in there in the 6-man tag. All those guys have talent. But, we've seen incarnations of all these matches 1,000 times. And that's not exactly what I want in my main event. Guys, there was only really two things on this show that I fucking liked. That was AJ and CENA and Enzo and Cass. The rest of the show was boring fucking shit up my fucking ass. And Stephanie and Shane and New Day, that shit made me fucking sick to my stomach. Everything else was pretty fucking boring, uneventful, just like usual. No, besides AJ and CENA, what the fuck else happened on this show? And if you're gonna come at me and be like, "Oh, Brad, well, what do you want? What else do you want?" I'll tell you what else I want. I want better content. Holy fucking shit! This was probably some of the most boring content I've ever seen in my fucking life. I mean, so many lame and stupid things they did on this show. And the opening segment just set the tone for the night. They're like, hey, strap into your seats, motherfuckers, because we're going to give you a shitty one. And boy, oh boy, did this suck. I mean, once again, brand extension, guys. We're all excited. People are giving me a hard time about saying that the brand extension is going to suck, even though the first one did. Maybe not in the very beginning, but it ended up sucking. Why the fuck do you think that this is going to be good? Isn't this any indication? Look, this is when the roster is together. Imagine when it's apart. It's going to suck even harder. How are people not seeing this? I'm gonna just to assume that a lot of the people saying that are younger fans, but then again, probably not in the same breath, because there's just a lot of people who just don't want to admit that the show is fucking shit and that there's no way of it improving by doing this brand extension. All right, motherfuckers, shitty ass show. The brand extension sucks. Cena got the best reaction on the show, probably. That's a fact. All right.